if you own a G3 and you've only ever used normal preset mode, you are missing out on one of the main features of G3. Stompbox mode adds so much and actually changes the way that things feel underfoot. So we're going to take you through some really cool ways to use the Stompbox mode feature in G3. And for me, it is one of the things that really separates G3 from everything else. So what do we mean when we talk about presets and Stompbox mode? When we talk about a preset, we talk about being able to hit a single foot switch and program a sound within that foot switch. I can select any number of loops, any number of features in G3, including pre and post gain, send MIDI messages, all that same thing by hitting one preset. A preset on G3 is any foot switch that doesn't have a yellow light on. So you can see 1, 3, 4, and 5 here are set up as presets. So when I hit this preset, the compressor and the delay comes on, so we get... So I can change that preset by simply adding another loop. So if you hit loop 7 for me. Now, if we go to foot switch 1, which is just a clean sound. No compression there. Now hit the comp button for me. Automatically turns on the compression and the flanger. That's a preset. That's really great. But what it doesn't have is flexibility. When I'm on that preset, that's the preset. If I want to change anything, I've got to reach down and press buttons and things like that.
I think it's important to say, because we forget about it, that you don't have to save anything. A lot of people ask, how do you save it? It saves automatically. So as you push buttons, it saves without you needing to do that.
So the issue with presets is flexibility. And when we did the first Pro 14, one of the things that we found out was that I'm so used to having all these pedals. And even though doing the tap dance is a nightmare, I still wanted to be able to have flexibility. So here we go. So very early on, we included this mode switch up here, which meant that the top row could be in what we call Stompbox mode, which means that I could be on a preset down here, but then I could add anything here to this preset. And then when I press a different preset down here, this would clear. It was a very simple way to do it, but it was really cool because what that meant was you had your presets, but you also had the flexibility to add things in on the fly. All right. This is a really important thing. You need that flexibility as an artist. As you know, if you're in the middle of this heroic solo, you're changing lives, and it's like, what I need now on top of this is more fuzz.
It's more.
You need to be able to hit a button that just adds more. So we created Stompbox mode. It basically turns your pedal board back into a normal pedal board, but with superpowers. Make sense?
It's fair.
All right. The first Stompbox mode we're going to have a look at is normal Stompbox mode. When you press a preset, it clears normal Stompbox mode. Let's go to number 3, which is the king of tone. And this is just a little bit of overdrive, right? Okay, I really like that sound. It's cool. That's going to be my main rhythm sound. Right. When I get to a part of the song that, let's say I want a bit of slap back. I think it's number 10 is slap back here. So you can see that the slap back has now been added to that sound. Now watch what happens if I go to any preset. Just go to the clean sound again. The slapback's turned off.
Let it go, Dan.
It's gone. When you press a preset, it clears normal Stompbox mode. Turn on the slapback again for me. Now I'm on the clean sound, the slapback.
Holy moly, we're back again.
Nice.
There you go.
Thank
right?
you.
You're
Good
welcome.
reference.
You're welcome. But now, if I go from the clean sound to the king of tone again, it's turned off. It's turned off the slapback. And in normal Stompbox mode, when you press a preset, it clears the Stompbox mode. Now, this is important because if we now add the slapback again, so we've added the slapback, Let's add.
Flange,
let's add
phaser.
let's add the treble booster. All right, so we can add as many Stompbox Mode sounds as we like, but now if we go back to the clean sound,
They're all gone again.
so we can layer up those sounds in Stompbox Mode. And that's where the flexibility comes from. I'm not stuck with a single sound. So that's the normal Stompbox Mode. I can add things on, but when I go back to a preset, it will clear that mode. The second Stompbox Mode, this is called Sticky Stomp. Where the normal Stompbox Mode would clear when you pressed a preset, in Sticky Stomp, it doesn't clear. So for example, this is my timeline, and I have this in a Stompbox Mode on foot switch 9. But now if we go to the King of Tone, and that will stay on until I turn it off. But what's really cool now, let's add the slapback on top of that. So I've now added 2 Stompbox Mode presets, one in Sticky Stomp, one in Normal Stomp. Now if I go to the clean sound, the Normal Stomp mode cleared, but the Sticky Stomp mode is still there. Why is this important? For players that use delay pretty much all the time as I do, it's on 90% of the time for me, but I want the ability to turn it off, right? So I'll put it in Sticky Stompbox mode. If you're using a reverb pedal, and lots of players love their reverb on all the time, for me, it makes perfect sense to have my delay on a Sticky Stompbox mode thing and then add it, and it stays there. I can change sounds with MIDI as I go through the presets, but the delay's there, you know? When I'm on a preset and I add a normal Stompbox mode
What happens?
and I hit any other preset, that clears.
Goodbye.
When I'm on a normal preset and I hit a Sticky Stomp, I can hit any preset and that will stay. To turn it off, I literally have to reach over and turn it
It's
off
stuck
again.
on until
So
you decide it's turned back
If I
off.
turn it off,
And now it's gone.
then it will turn off. But if I turn it back on, and then I move to a
chromaticism?
different preset, it stays on.
Could say it sticks around.
It does stick around. That's exactly it.
That's nice. That's
Nice,
nice, Lizzie.
Thank you.
Yeah. Lizzie getting in on the action. Let's go to Stompbox Mode number 3. The Stompbox Mode number 3 is what we call Flash Stompbox,
Nice.
right? And what happens with Flash is that whatever you selected with Flash Stompbox, it's only on while you're holding the foot switch down. As soon as you let the foot switch go, it's off. For example, I have got my fuzz set up here in Flash mode. I'm going to play a chord with the King of Tone, and then Joe is going to flash the fuzz on.
Joe, flash the
the
audience.
fuzz on,
Please
right?
flash the audience.
Here we go, here we go.
Cool as hell.
It's like a mini expression pedal. Use your creative bone and you'll find there's so many different ways that you can use the Flash Stomp. And the last Stompbox thing we're going to have a look at is what we call flip-flop Stompbox.
Flip-flop, Stompbox.
Of course, we had to have a flip-flop, didn't
Yeah.
we? We've got a
Yeah.
couple of them.
We do.
Right. In my setup, I've got some basic gain stages set up, and then I've got some modulation. I've got a flanger and a phaser, and they are in flip-flop group 1. Now, I would never have a flanger and a phaser on together. What this means is I can be on a sound, I can add in my phaser on top of the sound, but then when I add in my flanger, it turns the phaser off. So it flip-flops between it. I've also got the vibrato in the same flip-flop thing, right? So again, if we go onto the King of Tone, and if you can add the phaser in for me.
I didn't need to look. I was just checking. Is it the phase 45 or the phase 90?
Phase 45,
Yeah, that's what I
baby,
thought.
all the way.
That's what I thought.
Now let's go to the flanger. The beauty of the flip-flop mode is that I can group a bunch of effects that I want to be able to add, but I wouldn't necessarily want them on together. So with my modulation, I'd love the freedom of adding lots of modulation when I want, but I don't stack them.
Mm-hmm.
I find it quite messy, especially using the amount of delay that I do.
Yeah.
Well, and the whole time you've been doing that, you may have noticed or not, the delay's been on.
Delay's been on. So sticky stomp. Now we're going to quickly show you how to get there. So when you program anything in G3, you need to be on a normal preset. So if the yellow light is on, it means that the preset is in Stompbox mode, whatever Stompbox mode that is, and it's locked. You can't program it. To program it, it needs to be in standard mode first. For example, Joe, if we go to the vibrato and let's take the Stompbox off. Okay, and press vibrato again. Right, we're now back on this preset here. We've turned the vibrato back into a normal preset. Now, all we need to do is we go into the menu. You scroll down to menu, you're in Stompbox, and then all those Stompbox modes are in there. You just scroll across, scroll down to the one you want, select it, press the menu button to come out again, and here we are. And as soon as you've chosen the Stompbox mode that you want for that preset, all you do is press the Stompbox mode button. And that's it. The little yellow light comes on here. We know that this foot switch, this preset is in a Stompbox mode. So if I go back to the King of Tone, we add the vibrato. Chuck that delay back on for us. And then just go back to hit the King of Tone thing again.
Sorry, on the King Tone.
Yeah, if you press it again though,
Oh, right, sure.
turns the vibrato off.
Where'd it go?
But the delay's still on.
But the delay's still on. I'm going to show you just quickly because it's so cool. The other major thing to do with Stompbox mode is you can assign MIDI messages to each Stompbox mode foot switch. And it allows you to do the most amazing things. You see this across the top here. I don't know if you can see that on the screen, Lizzie. I should have record, play, reverse. Mm-hmm. And then over here, I've got Leslie and break.
Yeah.
Different Stompbox modes. I've got MIDI sending messages to the timeline to turn the looper on. So one thing that I find really frustrating with the timeline, I love the looper in it, but to get into it, you've got to press the tap and hold it. But
Like
if
me in
you're
the
using
mornings.
MIDI like this, you've got access to the looper all the time. The record button here is set up in Flash Stomp. It records a loop while you hold the button down, plays the loop when you release it. It's just playing that loop. What I want you to do now is hold the record button again.
Oh,
I'm just
no.
going to record over this. Can you hit the reverse button for me, please?
Oh,
Can you hit the record button for me, please? And then press 2 in 1, 2, 3, 4. The other thing I've got is I've got a preset in the H9 where I turn the Leslie on and I'm using a separate Stompbox mode to change the speed of the Leslie. If you can turn on the Leslie for me. Now, if you just touch the speed one, slows it down. Touch it again. Back to fast. Now, press and hold it. Turns the brake on. Let go.
That's sick.
One of the beautiful things about Stompbox Mode, it's so flexible that you can take a foot switch and just turn it into an expression machine. Of course, it will do all of your MIDI messages in standard preset mode and give you all that stuff. But then the flexibility this offers you when you get to grips with what you can do with the Stompbox Mode is rather spectacular.